Hi, how you doing? I was wondering how long it'd take for negativity to seep back in. It's more just honesty than anything. This random thing clicked in my head, middle of the day. It's not left, and I mentioned it to a few people, and the words that clicked up, Imposter Syndrome. So what clicked in my head? I don't feel qualified. What do you mean I don't feel qualified? Well, actually, before I go on to the why I don't feel qualified, the big man had a good day at school. Fantastic day at school. Turns out he's in the, I think I said it yesterday, they said that he's in the upper tier. Today he went in thinking that he weren't in the, we thought we weren't going to be in a groove. Bam, jumped in headfirst in projects and stuff, and he's up there. It's great. So when he goes through the transition into the school, I've got my fingers crossed. But that's just it. Because then my youngest son didn't have a particularly fantastic day at school. Oh, he did, but he makes mountains out of molehills, like I mentioned yesterday, which ties into this whole I don't feel qualified. Recently, it's always a thing. People have started coming to me asking for advice. All sorts of things. Could be something trivial like, hey, how should I set up this? Or, what do you think of that? But I'm also getting life stuff, and I really don't feel like I'm the right kind of guy to be giving anyone advice. I really don't. Honest to a fault, sure, but I don't know, I'm being asked by, one of the things I want to talk about is that I feel old too. I sit in like VR games and stuff, and I'm a 36-year-old geez talking to teenagers in early 20s about stuff, and I do end up getting asked questions like I'm some wise old man living on a hill. But like, I'm nothing. Like, I ain't anything fancy. Asking me like life advice is like, I don't know. I can give advice because I've walked down many a path through my time. I've stumbled down many of the wrong ones, so I guess I could give you advice on not to go that way, but it doesn't necessarily mean I know the right one. And the right one's going to be different for everyone. But now I'm preaching, and I'm not the guy to give people advice. I'm not successful. That depends on what you would consider successful. I wouldn't even consider myself a particularly nice guy. In fact, I'd say I'm a terrible example of a human being. I'm a bad guy surrounded by good people. I'm not very good at anything I do. But I can, what does that mean? Like, I can teach you how to do things I can't necessarily do myself. I've been around long enough, gone down them paths long enough to be able to recognise patterns and I've solved problems. But I'm not good at anything. Now, if you come up with a problem in editing, I might be able to help you fix it. Or you've got an audio problem, I might know the solution. But it doesn't mean I'm any good at it. You might have a life problem. I might have a potential solution, but I don't know if that's the right one. I'm giving kids advice, and yeah, I don't even know if I'm giving the right advice to my own kids. It's scary. Is that weird? Because I don't want to lead anyone on the wrong path. I don't feel I'm qualified to give anyone advice. For anything. Even if it is something I know about. I guess that's where the imposter syndrome thing comes from. I don't even know if any of this makes any sense. It's just, this has been the dominating thought of the day. Because I don't think I'm doing a particularly good job at anything. I mean, some people look at me and think that I'm some kind of, yeah mate, look at that guy, well smart, well successful, well this, well that. No, I don't think so. Well, it depends. No, I've got a wife and 2 kids. I wouldn't say I'm a very good husband, and I'm a terrible father. Absolutely terrible. I do also have a knack for kind of dogging on myself a lot, but in some areas I just think I'm terrible. I know we all make mistakes, but I focus on my mistakes, and I'm built on negative reinforcement, and I don't know. Like, I'm just an opinionated old twat. I can share my opinions with people, and I think that it's up to them to be able to then develop their own. I'm pretty much always I'm neutral. I'll play devil's advocate on absolutely everything, just to because I like to see things from both sides of the argument. But I don't know if I'm really I don't know if I'm necessarily qualified to be able to guide anyone through life. Like I say, it's bad enough being a fucking parent sometimes. Is that imposter syndrome? Is it? I'm just rambling on and on and on. I don't want to steer anyone wrong. But I don't want anyone to think that, like, hey, if we do what he does, we'll be able to do all of this. But realistically, like, I'm here, but people think I'm like up here. Or they want to be up here, and they think I can give them the advice for that? I don't know. Maybe that is what the old guru on the mountain does. You know, they don't realistically have anything, but they can give advice. And it's up to what the people do with it, as to what shapes them in the future, you know? I don't know whether I have more hits or misses when it comes to... I can see patterns. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's like it's not always necessarily a good thing if you're right. Just want to throw that out there. Being right all the time isn't always a good thing. I'm not saying I am right all the time, but sometimes when you got something, and you're like, yeah, it's a thing, and then it happens, it's like, oh, that's so disappointing. Yeah, it's probably a thing. You ever have that happen to you? You go like, oh, now I know what he's talking about. I don't want to be rude and not give advice. I've taught people to do things, like I said, that I can't do them myself, but I know how they work. You know, I know the fundamentals of how certain things work. I've taught many people how to record audio, shoot photos, edit video. I've taught people how to, and this is going to sound ridiculous, I've taught people how to play guitar. Yeah, I can't play guitar to save my damned life. I give them the fundamentals and say, now go with it. Now that's what I like to do. I like to give people the basics, and just to prove that anyone can do anything they want, as long as they've got a firm grasp of the basics. That to be able to break down complex subjects into incredibly, like, just break them down into their base form, and be able to explain it in a nice digestible way, so then they can go, oh, actually that wasn't so hard, I can do that too. That's what I want to do, that's what I like doing. But I don't know if I'm qualified. Just because I think it's risky. It's easy to give advice, but it's not easy to deal with the consequences of where that advice may lead. Maybe I'm just flipping out. Anyway, I'm heading off. Just want people to be able to do the best that they possibly can do. I don't want people to be held back by their own doubts, he says as he sat there doubting himself. Just have this idea of you just give someone advice and it completely flips them onto a different path, and that path leads them to ruin. And nothing specific has really triggered this today, other than the fact that I've been talking to a lot of people who realistically I'm an old man compared to. That's it. Like a bunch of teenagers and 20-year-olds, and I'm like, really? I'm like 10, 15 years older than you guys. And I'm a bum. Then you're coming to me for advice? Bless you all. You're crazy. Hope you well. I'll see you with good luck in the next one. If this is imposter syndrome, if I probably did, it might be. I've defined imposter syndrome before. But is this the same? If it is, this is a bitch. I'm just honest no matter the cost. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't have to be the winner. I don't mind playing the bad guy if it makes someone feel better. Oh, and look, we actually got some sleep, so I'm not running on complete fuzz today.